And we are live now on 3 different platforms live streaming. Every time I pull off this little magic trick, I always feel pretty proud of myself. Getting my camera situated. I love also seeing notifications on my own phone that we are live right now. So as everyone is hopping into this stream, as you're like coming into it, first off, welcome everyone. Hello, my name is Adam Barron. I am the ScaleLab community manager here, which means that I somehow tricked a bunch of people to pay me to be obsessed with YouTube. I don't know how I got here. It's a very LA thing, but I'm excited to be here with you guys. So today's topic we're going to be talking about is biggest mistakes made by new content creators. Before we dive into that topic though, I'm going to allow some people time to hop into the streams, but I do want to ask up front, what are some mistakes that you as content creators made in those early days of starting your channel? Or maybe you're a newbie yourself and you keep hitting the same obstacles, the same struggles. Let us know in a comment, give us that feedback. Even if you're watching this on replay, we will make sure to read and comment back on all of those comments. And I just want to hear from the community itself, what are the things that you are most focused on as a content creator and what are your struggles? So allowing everyone to kind of hop in. So let's see. Bam. Okay. Let's see other things, about myself or other things just to keep in mind for the future of ScaleLab. One thing is that we are going to be doing these live streams on a more consistent basis, and with our connections with the higher ups at YouTube, we're getting like new information that is like very cutting edge information that you as an influencer are going to want to hear about. So make sure no matter what platform you are currently viewing us on, that you are following us, that you are subscribed to us. ScaleLab is going to be your next one-stop shop for all of your questions, all of those resources. And I'm pretty much the point person for a lot of those communications. If you're looking for, advice, for feedback on your channel or as your journey as a content creator, I'm the one that's pretty much behind a lot of the ScaleLab social media. So if you want to follow up with me with a question that doesn't get addressed, doesn't get answered in these streams, just feel free to hit us up on social media, as well as there will be a follow-up Q&A thread on our forum. You can visit that forum very easy at forum.scalelab.com. It will be in general discussion. I believe it's going to be titled Live Stream Follow-Up Q&A. So I just want everyone, even if you're watching this, especially on replay, you're not watching this live, but you still at the end of it have questions, I just want everyone to know that there are places to get those questions answered. All right, so making sure, all right, I almost had Twitter spaz out on me. That's what happens when you try to cross these streams, but no, I think we're good. All the timestamps are running. I also want to mention to everyone that this is our second installment of our live stream series. Hopefully we have some return viewers. I would love that. If you are a return viewer, please let me know. But our previous live streams topic was top 10 tips to make amazing thumbnails. I honestly, thumbnails are one of the things that I just get obsessed to an interesting point, because it was taught to me very early on that, a clickable thumbnail is your welcome mat to your content. It's going to be something that we're going to be talking even about thumbnails a little bit more into this live stream, but for a deeper dive into how you can be doing those better, be sure to, you can find that live stream on any of our social media platforms, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. We have that full unedited live stream there for you. So, I love that someone's I love seeing people coming in, giving some feedback. I know the YouTube live stream, the temporary thumbnail for this live stream is just like me in the office. I already have another thumbnail ready to upload, so I already see some feedback. I see you guys. We have thumbnails prepared. I'm not gonna start off this live stream with thumbnails, with weak thumbnails. Very excited for that. Let's see. So now that you know about the previous live stream, you know where to go if you don't have questions that get answered in this live stream. And yeah, just be aware that, make sure to follow us so that you know when the next live stream is coming up. So with all of that said, I think we are ready to dive into the biggest mistakes made by new content creators. And again, if you are a seasoned content creator that you want to give some advice, this is a dialogue. This is a conversation. I'm here. I'm trying to make sure that I catch everyone's comments or questions, and if they don't, I at least have some feedback as well as that Q&A forum. So, first main topic I want to dive into is things to avoid when making content. Just talking about your content making process. And this is going to be a note that I feel like a lot of new content creators have heard of before. So I'm going to, start the live stream with it so we can move past it. Hopefully it's not just something that's being hit over your head repeatedly, but that is the number one problem with most new content creators is consistency in uploading. Now, you've probably heard that many times, but I want to at least give you the reasons why that's so important. First off, people are always more likely to subscribe to a channel if they feel like there is new upcoming content coming to the channel. So that means, consistently every single week, you maybe have an upload schedule that is posted somewhere so that you're communicating to your new community that yes, okay, I am taking this seriously. You should expect multiple uploads from me. It just lets them know that, okay, it's not just a hobby. It's not just a one-off. You're not just an art student in film school that's just uploading his one thesis project and then walking away from the channel. Consistency builds community, and that's what we want to do on YouTube. Other big thing why consistency is so important is that the YouTube algorithm rewards consistent uploaders across search, across suggested, and across browse videos. So, and also what's great is that I feel like a lot of you know that some new uploads also receive its own level of boosted search results coming to it as soon as YouTube kind of sees that, oh, okay, this is a video that's just been uploaded the first 48 hours. A lot of times when you're searching on YouTube, you will see that new kind of flag sticker next to the name. So be sure, it's really good advice to know that as you're uploading, it's that new boost of like, oh, okay, if I get a boost of search for every new upload, then I need to be consistently uploading new content. And the more that you upload, the more chances that there are to be discovered through the search engine and find new viewers. Every single new upload is basically like casting your line into a sea of new potential subscribers and hopefully pulling back, some new friends. And one of the big things that I recommend to our community when when I tell them this and they're like, okay, well, I have a full-time job, I have a family, like my time level is already, I've dedicated as much as I can to this content. How can you ask me to upload more? One of my biggest recommendations is to not just create, but document. Document your life versus creating the content. I feel like a lot of people don't fully understand in the beginning of being a content creator that a lot of times people are there for you. They're there following you as a personality, as a person. So they want those in the moments as you live them. And it's something that's the kind of content that you don't have to plan weeks for advance, don't have to struggle to think like, oh, how am I going to get an upload? It's you just finding out what is something that I'm doing in my day-to-day life that I can, make some content from, pull from, whether it's, an event that you're already going to, a movie premiere. I'll see you nerds at Deadpool tonight. And that's the best kind of content to make because it's just you being you, and that's when you're at your most authentic. Other thing, that's another way to build authenticity with this kind of in-the-moment content is that I love this story from Casey Neistat. So hopefully everyone here joining us is at least familiar with the juggernaut that is Casey Neistat. He's one of the largest content creators on the YouTube platform, and one of his signature styles is that he has always a pair of sunglasses on. Now, what I thought was funny is that when I first started, learning about Casey and just his style as a content creator, I kept wanting to know, like, okay, what was the reason behind the sunglasses? And he explains in one of his vlogs that it's because as a filmmaker, he kept looking at the viewfinder, at the actual screen, the pop-out screen from his DSLR camera. So it always just looked like he was looking just off camera, almost like if you're talking to someone and you're just looking at their forehead or their shoulder or their chin. It's subtle, but it is something that people pick up on. So one of my recommendations in order to help build that authentic connection with your viewers is just to make sure that you're always looking into the lens. This can be a little difficult when you're kind of sitting in the hot seat like myself and you have 3 different lenses, 3 different cameras situated on you, but for most new content creators, you're only looking at one. And it's such an easy thing that gets overlooked with new influencers. It's just making sure that you're staring into the lens, you're making that direct connection, you're not constantly worrying about what your hair's looking like as you're making content. That's going to take away from that authentic feel. So that's my first consistency, when things to avoid when making content is not being consistent. Other big thing is not leveraging the power of stories to keep people on the content. So going back to my example of like making content that's in the moments, that's kind of day to day, something that I see so often is that they're like, okay, the only thing I'm doing today or only thing I need to do is go to the grocery store. Is that enough to make an interesting vlog? The fact that you are asking that question probably means that you already know the answer, which is not really. So my suggestion is you can take anything from the mundane to the exciting and add a narrative to it. So for example, using that grocery store vlog, what if at the beginning of the vlog, maybe you're going with your significant other or your best friend and you just make a bet at the beginning, like, you know what, we have a huge dinner to cook. I don't think we're going to be able to do it in like under 40 bucks, under 50 bucks. You maybe put like a thing of like, oh, let's make a bet over where it's going to go over or under the final price or whether or not they're going to have all the special ingredients I need for this recipe. Build a sort of hook, a sort of reason to keep someone watching the content of, oh, okay, it's not just a grocery store thing. There's like a little bit more. There's a wager. There's something going on that makes me want to figure out what's the rest of this story. And it can be that simple. You don't have to be telling the whole Odyssey in every single vlog. Keep it simple. Keep it to stories that are like, you having a change of opinion. Maybe it's the thumbnail is you like skydiving out of a plane and the first like 10 seconds of the video is you just saying, okay, that thumbnail is photoshopped because there's no way that these guys are going to get me to fly out of this plane. I don't know what you saw or think from the title and thumbnail, but it's not happening. All of a sudden I'm hooked. All of a sudden I need to know what is actually going to go on by the end of this video. So using those using the kind of premise of the vlog to not only just say, oh, this is what we're doing, but kind of give a question at the beginning of like, oh, is this how it's going to go down, or is it going to follow every kind of expectation? So yeah, and that's also, even with tutorials, you can build suspense even in like, tutorials and showing people like how-tos and stuff. Oh, and my last third piece of advice for just basically things to avoid when making content is that I feel like in the early days of making content, not enough people experiment early enough. And it's something that in those early days, it's really important that you not get stuck in a rut and you are spending, hours, weeks, months, even years on a channel that you're thinking like, man, I've only done the same 2 or 3 formats with my content and it's not connecting with people. It must be YouTube's fault. So no, I want to say if you're wondering about, okay, if this could be better, do things differently. Switch up your thumbnails every now and then. Figure out, what's the kind of content from feedback in your comment section that's connecting the most with people. I love when I've seen lifestyle vloggers that start their channel with the whole assumption of, okay, I'm just going to be about product reviews or beauty lifestyle, and a year into it, all of a sudden they realized that, they took a chance on a reaction video and that's what kind of set their channel off. So it can be something of like, oh, okay, just trying out different formats, and once you see something gaining traction, knowing that, oh, this is something that I need to kind of put all chips in on this because it is connecting with this audience, and building out from there and seeing what other similar kind of formats. Again, experimenting, not just sticking with the plan that you had when you launched the channel. So that's my kind of section on things to avoid when making content. Before I move on, I do just kind of want to check in with everyone, see how everyone's doing. I think I have some questions that we were able to pull from people joining in. So someone did ask, what are the requirements to join ScaleLab? I love that people are interested in joining the ScaleLab. Great times. You can actually go to ScaleLab.com. I know that we have a whole acceptance team that they have a whole process to it. It's something that if you want to learn more, you can follow up with us. But I mean, yeah, we would love, even if you can't join our community, there is tons of resources like in our forums to find more. And so, yeah, you know, like as a network, our biggest priority is just to service content creators, you know, then, you know, that make these high value content. So if you feel like, okay, I'm a content creator, you know, I'm on my journey and I would just love to, you know, have a support team. That's just something that even if you're not part of the community, ScaleLab as a brand, as a company, we are always looking to add more value, which is the reason we're doing this live stream in the first place. You don't have to be a part of the community to see this face and get this advice. So make sure, again, follow, stay tuned. We got more stuff coming down the road for you. Also got the question of how can a creator make sure that the content is not re-uploaded to Facebook? Now, I know that that is a tool set that Facebook is kind of working on like day to day, whether I know that they, you know, recently announced that they have their own content ID system in place that they're working on, just like YouTube. So I would say right now, it really is something that's in flux. It's something that's ever evolving. And, you know, in these early days, it's just going to take a lot of, you know, just effort on your part just to make sure to log into Facebook and also use your community. I love when I see content creators that, you know, they get told by their followers like, oh, hey, I saw on Facebook, like this dude, you know, is trying to pretend to be you. And yeah, just, you know, put it out there. Let your fans, let your subscribers be that first line of defense for you. And I feel like that also builds that authentic connection of, oh, dude, thank you so much. You were looking out for me, not only me, but my content, which is like really important. And I mean, if you have people that are looking out for the content as well as you, then you got a solid fan. You got a superstar right there. And also, you know, the thing that you can do is, you know, apply for the Facebook Rights Manager. And you can do that at rightsmanager.facebook.com. So that also gives you, you know, those tools that you can. So you can make sure that you're not, you know, like having your content getting views that you would rather have. I feel like that's something that everyone wants to accomplish. No one wants to just give out their hard work for free. So good questions, guys. Anything more like that? You know, you can bring them in. I'm going to have, you know, kind of pause moments and little breaks in this live stream. So even if I don't get to your question immediately, it will be something that I can address. And again, if not live on the stream, then I can also answer it in our forum.scalelab.com. We'll have our follow-up Q&A thread there. So moving on to our next section, but you know, before I do, to summarize, so things to avoid when making content. Number one, problem is creators not staying consistently enough. Make a schedule, stick with it, aim for weekly uploads. You know, number two, not leveraging the power of stories to keep people on the content. Don't think that just you making your grocery store run is enough to keep people on the video. Add a story to it. And the last thing is not experimenting early enough. Don't assume at the launch of your channel that you know all the answers and that you know the kind of content that's going to connect the most with your fans and with your followers. Cool? So next section we're going to be discussing is essential ways to optimize content and your channel. And this is what I love, because I feel like this is something that everyone can take away, no matter what kind of content creator you are. There's definite advice that anyone can apply. My first is we're going to be talking about hooks. Basically, I want everyone to think about the things that hook people to continue watching your content. And I kind of mentioned, you know, like a couple of them previously, like thumbnails, those first seconds. But to break it down, there's really, I consider, 3 super important hooks that people should pay attention to or they will click off from your content. The first is the title. The title of the video must pitch the value of that video or prompt a question that needs to be answered. I feel like too often, especially if you have a title that starts with like vlog number 257 and your channel name, that immediately isn't giving me any more information that I couldn't have, you know, gained on my own just from visiting your site. Give me a reason. Like I said, prompt a question. It's not just a grocery store run. It's just, you know, who will win this bet? Something that makes me think, oh, and what's great is that title should also connect with the thumbnail, your second click. And the thumbnail must be clickable and it must communicate some emotion or some aspect of the narrative that will be discussed in that piece of content. Now, if you want more advice on how to make your thumbnails better, hopefully you know what I'm going to say. our last previous live stream, top 10 tips to make your thumbnails amazing. Go to that. We have all the advice broken down in there. So I'm not going to stick with it because it's title, it's thumbnails, and the third hook is going to be the first 15 seconds of your video. This is now bringing it all together of someone seeing the title, it's connecting, it's making them intrigued from the thumbnail, but then those first 15 seconds, you have to deliver on the value that was pitched in that thumbnail or title. And it also has to introduce the creator and channel to potential new viewers. A slip up that I see too often is content creators using lingo that is very insider, and it's something that maybe you reference something in previous vlogs, something that new viewers won't necessarily pick up easily. So it's something you can do in the content, but just reserve those first 15 seconds to really, present yourself to as many people as possible, especially new viewers. So second thing, to consider essential ways to optimize your content and channel is that you're not thinking about getting your videos ranked. This to me is a huge step for every content creator to kind of get over the initial hump of only my friends and family are watching this. Getting your videos ranked means that you're basically collecting views while you snooze. It's you understanding that there is certain kind of content that people are searching for, that they are going to YouTube, that they are using the search bar. And it's crazy that YouTube is the #2 search engine in the world, and it's owned by the first biggest one. So if you were ever wondering about how important search is for YouTube as a content creator, it basically puts you in front of new search results. So thinking about, going to the YouTube search bar and actually starting to type in okay, I think I want to make a video, maybe just about I'm going to go back to grocery store, how to do my best budget grocery shopping. But so start typing into the search bar, budget shopping list, budget meals, see what are the first suggested ones in the YouTube search bar of oh, do you mean, best, budget meals for under $10? Then all of a sudden you think oh, okay, now this is the search engine telling me by ranked of number of results that these are the ones that people are searching for. So maybe I should consider steering my content, steering that title, everything to fit that search engine. So that way when people search it, they see your piece of content and it's oh, this is the answer I was looking for. So that's all that, getting videos ranked means. I feel like people get too scared when they hear, big words like SEO and everything. And this is really just about you understanding, you as a user, when you go to YouTube, how do you search for answers? And then thinking, okay, as a content creator, how can I basically meet them on that path for answers? Last thing to, kind of consider when optimizing your content or channel is that I would recommend that everyone look at their channel page as a storefront for new visitors, for new viewers. And this is something that, every single new visitor coming to your channel should be able to very easily identify what kind of content you make. And this also goes back into, do you have a channel trailer? If you're coming to the channel for the first time, well, and that channel trailer is really important because not only does it automatically play, it's the only video on your YouTube channel that will autoplay for someone visiting your channel. That is big. But it also gives an extended view of the description. So that's a great place to put your upload schedule to prove to everyone new to the channel that you upload consistently. Use that as a greeting for new viewers. It has a lot of value when you just think about, oh, it's not, this channel isn't just for me and my besties. This should be something that anyone walking into my corner of the internet should get immediately what I'm about and what kind of person I'm trying to reach. And I feel like that is also, really, yes. And I think, the easier that you can make yourself identifiable, the more subs that you're going to get. That also, the channel banner, putting your upload schedule in there as well as just more info into who you are or what kind of channel. So a lot of places that you can, just kind of update and really take notice of. I would also really recommend that everyone categorize their best videos into a playlist and then put that playlist at the top, those top shelves, as a lot of YouTube engineers call them, those basically just a shelf of different videos that you can place, a place list there. just organize your content so that if you're a new visitor, you're not searching for what's the best video by you. I feel like you as the content creator know which videos make you shine the brightest. So make sure to put those like up front and don't make it so hard for them to find. And yeah, that's just organizing into playlists. That's really easy. So cool. So that's so to wrap up in the kind of like mid-section of essential ways to optimize your content and channel. First thing you're going to be thinking about the hooks, to those 3 hooks: title, thumbnail, first 15 seconds to bring people into the content. You're also going to be thinking about how to get your videos ranked, which means that you are using the power of YouTube search results to put your content in front of those people. So again, it's just playing with the search bar, figuring out what it's telling you people are searching for. And the last thing then, making sure that you're organizing and catering your YouTube channel as a storefront, as something that anyone can hop into and see all your best content and just get the vibe of it. Because really your vibe attracts your tribe. And that's something I feel like I want to say in a lot of other streams, because I feel like that's just tattoo worthy right there. And that's something I feel like every content creator should just keep in their mind of just, it's about, being true to myself, and then other people will connect with it. So before I move on, I kind of want to like make sure everyone is still with me. I'm going to kind of search around, see if there's any questions that I have like missed. This is time to ask everyone. So please, if you have anything that you want to know, if you're a new content creator too, I would love to hear from you, especially if you're doing this, in the first 12 months under, 1,000 subs, like you're the guys that I want to be talking to the most. So, and if you're just joining us and you are a larger content creator, and I mean, hey, you just want to see if there's any tips that you aren't aware of. If there's anything that doesn't get discussed, leave a comment. You guys are the ones that, that have the years of experience over a lot of these newbies, and I want to hear from you guys. Like, what are the biggest mistakes that you felt that you made in those first 1,000 subs? All right, so just letting that out. All right, cool. Love just checking in. Got some people still with us. And then again, yeah, if you have any questions, submit it, and I'll make sure to answer all of those at the end of the stream. So our last section that I kind of want to cover for this live stream is pretty much how to engage a new community and the mistakes that a lot of content creators make with that. And really, I think this is one of the most important things that you can do as a content creator, because if you really think about it, it's one of the things that makes you special as an influencer, is that you have this unfiltered connection with viewers. If you think about traditional content creators, television show makers, movie filmmakers, there's always a middleman. There's always someone in between the final audience and them, whether it's a distributor, whether it's some executive producer that's going to put his own spin on things. Being in Hollywood, I feel like I've heard so many of those horror stories. But what's amazing with YouTube is that there are none. It's if your community isn't connected with you, it's not because some CEO stepped in and sent a message you didn't agree with. It's all on you, man. So I think that's exciting. I think that's great, because it's all on your shoulders and it's all up to you to really build that social reach and to make those connections and to leverage that to even more fun content that you would want to watch yourself. So getting into that, how to engage a new community. The first biggest mistake that I feel like comes from new content creators is that you're not using a consistent intro or outro. So that means calls to action to, subscribe, like, in the content as well as in the channel art and video descriptions. I feel like by the time someone uploads a video to YouTube very often, especially if they're new and they're still trying to work out the workflow of being a content creator, is that they see the video description, they're just like, oh, I just don't have the time for this. But that video description is really important in terms of connecting your video to search results. It's a lot of the words, a lot of the things that you're putting into that video description to describe the video that's going to okay, if I'm searching for, the grocery store, then make sure you have the grocery store in the description. If it's a tutorial, all right, making sure. I love live streaming because you get just the fun things of a call coming in. But all right, it looks like we're still live. Oh, cool. I love when I see the little timestamp and we're still live on YouTube. And I even mentioned it earlier, these calls to action, they shouldn't have insider lingo. You shouldn't, be speaking a language that they don't understand, whether it's just, you call them by fun names or make references to inside jokes. All great in time, but not in the beginning and not if you're trying to connect with the new viewers and build out. And also something that in that intro, that is a great place, the intro and outro of your videos, to also just state what is your mission? What is your mission statement as a content creator? What are you should be defining the goals that you have for the channel to others. Because no one's a mind reader, and it's something that if I'm first discovering you as a new content creator, you don't have hundreds of thousands or millions of subs. I don't know how serious of a venture this is for you. But if you state at the top or at the end, hey, my name's Adam Barron. I'm going to be, doing these optimization sessions because I really feel that it adds value to the community. We're going to be doing this every single week, and we're not stopping until all of a sudden I'm sitting next to Casey himself getting advice from him. It's those kind of fun goals that people are like, okay, yes, this guy has a vision of what's going on. And I feel like people, that's what a lot of times gets those early subscribers, is that they're connecting with the vision behind the content creator and just thinking oh, it's not all the way there yet, but I'm with this guy. I want to see where he's taking it. So, just mission statement, intro, making sure that it's, again, you're presenting yourself in a way that's really easy for newbies to come in and join you. Also, one of the biggest things you got to do as a content creator, number 2, to connect and engage with your community, is just have energy and really understand all the different ways that you can engage. I feel like low engagement in general is such a broad thing that happens with new content creators, because maybe you've only ever been on the other side of it. You've only ever left comments on other videos. You're not sure how you should be managing it yourself. So some actionable pro tips that I can give you is that, first off, you should always be the first to comment on your own video. And I would also recommend pinning that comment to the top of the section. And what that does is that if you're new and you're thinking okay, this isn't PewDiePie, this isn't Philip DeFranco, where he's getting hundreds of thousands of comments, and I'm thinking oh, it's going to be lucky if his social media manager sees me. No, if you're new, if you're just starting off, then me as a viewer, I think that there's a huge chance, a much greater chance, that you as a content creator are going to hear my feedback, are going to see my comment. So to me, and it's if I understand that you as a content creator not only see that comment, you can heart it, you comment back on it, you say that you appreciate the feedback given, it is actually statistically, someone is 5 times more likely to join your channel and subscribe to it if they recognize that the content creator is actually listening to them. And it only has to be one comment. You don't have to have a book club with this person. It's just something that if they feel that there is someone, especially in those early days, that is fostering the community, that is using the community to help navigate the content, I think that is super powerful and something that every newbie should just understand and be aware of, commenting back to those comments, using the feedback in the content. Also engaging other channels. Now, this can be kind of tricky because I feel like we've all seen situations or examples of someone doing a sub for sub or just spam commenting on different channels. So the first thing I can tell you is that just no longer works on YouTube. As a platform, if they recognize that you are doing anything that's spam worthy, you could get your entire channel suspended, which is the last thing anyone wants. So for me, it's about recognizing who are the other influencers that are influencing you and your content, that are inspiring your journey as a content creator, and then going to that channel and adding value. Or maybe just, oh, here's my opinion, here's some feedback, but it can be more than just love your stuff or so cool, love it. Maybe ask a question that builds a response thread that then is pushed up to the top of that comment section that then gets the attention of the content creator. Even better is if you can join in on one of those top question threads and you can be a resource. You're the one that's answering the questions before the content creator can do. So that way, when the content creator does go into the thread with the intention of answering that question, sees you already on top of it, I've more times than not, the content creator is going to recognize that, oh, this person's not only on the same page as me, but is you know, just is actually helping the community that's not even theirs. Oh, what are they about? Oh, cool, their channel looks very similar to mine. Maybe we should set up a collaboration. You'd be surprised how easily a lot of those early collabs happen just from you adding value to their content. And again, this doesn't have to be just on YouTube. Tweet them, Instagram comment them, anything that just, puts you in front of their social media as not just, someone that's ask, but it's just giving your positivity, giving your good vibes, giving your, sense of community, and also helping build that community for them. Oh, the people that, become the kind of super moderators for comment sections, those are the ones that content creators really recognize. And if you're a fellow content creator, it's just way easier to build those relationships up. Last thing really in terms of how to engage a new community, I feel like I've kind of mentioned it previously in the stream, and that's just being human, being authentic. So kind of going back to, document, don't create. Don't feel like you have to put on a character to build a social media audience. It's a lot of times it's something that it's the authentic, it's the gripes, it's the moments where you're vulnerable that you're probably at the points where you're like, I don't know if I want to, I don't know who's gonna like this. Like, oh, does this put me in a bad light? But those are the moments that people are like, oh my God, like me too. And that's what you want to really strive for as a content creator, is those me too moments. So if you're looking online and you're following content creators and you're like, man, no one seems to be understanding the specific struggle that I'm in. Maybe it's just from where in the world you're from, and maybe it's your family relations, but I guarantee no matter how niche, no matter how specific that is your struggle, if you share that with people, there's going to be someone that connects. And that's what's going to build those super fans, the people that are like, oh man, this guy, like, he's not just putting on a show, he's giving me a window, he or she is giving me a window into their authentic lives. So, yeah, and it's important to, even if you're a content creator and you're like, that's not me, man. Like, my content is more just about, maybe I'm a tutorial thing. It's something more about the content is to serve a company, to serve a brand, to serve a product that I made. Let me remind you, every brand still needs a face. I'd say Tesla is doing fantastic as a company, doesn't need Elon Musk, but we all know who he is, and the fact that the company does have a face to connect with does make it more recognizable to people that aren't tech obsessed. And I think that's something to really recognize, is that if you want to reach people that aren't just obsessed with the same things that you're obsessed with, it's going to be because not that they're like, oh, okay, they also are obsessed with grocery shopping. It's going to be because, oh, I love how your perspective of the world is, how you're communicating with me, how you're sharing your story. That's what's so important. Just like I said previously, adding leveraging the power of narrative stories, and using that story to tell more about yourself. That's what's going to build those early connections. And also, being energetic with your presentation. I feel like so often in your early days, you're just a ball of nerves, and you're thinking like, okay, like, it's like you're reaching out into the YouTube, into the online abyss, hoping that someone grabs your hand, when I feel like it needs to be more of just like a direct handshake. You need to have the confidence in yourself that someone is going to come along and connect with you, as long as you know that this is what I want to be putting out to the world. This is, whoever does connect with this, that's who I want to be talking to. And that just comes back, all in the beginning, to knowing like who you are, what kind of content that you would respond to, what kind of content that you would connect with. Start there, use that to then build out the content, build out the community. And I'm going to say it again, it's because it all goes back to the fact that your vibe attracts your tribe. So keep that in mind, and that's pretty much to summarize, how to engage a new community. Again, making sure that you're having consistent intros and outros. Those calls to action is super important, and it doesn't have to feel like really hokey. It doesn't have to be something like, smash the like button and make sure to subscribe, or else it can be something that feels like, oh, if you're more of a comedian, then to be like, okay, maybe you make a joke, a 90s reference, and you're like, oh, if you got that reference, you should subscribe to me because we're going to be good friends. Make it fun. I feel like the content creators that feel like they're forced to have calls to actions are the ones that are already losing. So calls to action, low engagement, keeping up the energy, making sure that you're not just engaging your followers on your own channel, but on other channels that they could be visiting. I love when a content creator leaves a comment on another channel and the first comment is just like, oh man, like it's so cool seeing you here. Like I love following you. All of a sudden you're recognized as another content creator in this platform, and just it's another great way of just like kind of putting yourself out there. And then the last thing is just being human, being yourself. Don't feel like you have to put on a character, put on a show to make connections with people. YouTube is huge. It is an ecosystem that can cater to every single type of lifestyle or person. So don't feel like you have to make yourself the broadest version of yourself. I would actually say that being more niche, more specific is always going to better serve you in the end. All right, guys, so that I'm gonna at least leave it open for a couple more minutes if anyone does have any questions that they just wanna come at me with. Today it's been really great talking to you guys about the biggest mistakes new content creators are making, but what I wanna really at least make sure that we are leaving with is I wanna know what else do you guys want to learn from ScaleLab, from myself. What are the topics that you feel like aren't being discussed? What are the struggles that you still need help to overcome? This is a live stream series that I want to add as much value as possible to the people that are watching it. So that means you guys, especially if you've stuck this, if you're all the way through this live stream, if you're to this point, you're a damn rock star. And I appreciate your time and I appreciate the support and the engagement. Honestly, as a community, we're here for you guys. And so again, that open dialogue. If you're not able to give us your suggestions here now, and I understand maybe you're listening to this like in a car, like you're busy with something, there is still opportunities for you to navigate where the next live stream goes by going to forum.scalelab.com, forum.scalelab.com. That's going to be where we're going to have our follow-up Q&A. Anyone that has issues or anything that didn't get addressed, we're always going to have follow-ups there as well. So it's a great thing to bookmark, actually, just because we're also it's a great place where our community of content creators also gives their own advice. They also have their own questions, and it's a living community. It's its own dialogue right there. So want to make sure everyone is at least aware of that, and making sure coming in. Just double checking everyone's comment. All right, I'm feeling good, feeling great. I feel like we should probably end on a good note before anyone starts sharing this with trolls and they start coming in. We're gonna end on a good note. So guys, thank you so much for joining us on this live stream. Again, follow us on at ScaleLab. Let's see if I can. So on Facebook, it's ScaleLab Network. On Instagram, it's ScaleLab. And on Twitter, it's ScaleLab Network. So you know where to follow us on all of our platforms. And I will see you guys again on another live stream in the DMs, on the forums. I'm everywhere, wherever you want me to be. And just much love, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. Much love. And boom. And peace out. Peace out, YouTube. Later.